Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're all having a fantastic day. I myself am doing pretty good today. And I actually heard the news about a few days ago from Ringside News regarding one Eric Bischoff and his decision to step away from wrestling altogether. That's right. Eric Bischoff apparently has now confirmed that he is retiring from wrestling. No more will he appear on any wrestling shows, despite, I think, in the last few years, there hasn't really been any offers for the guy to just come back and just partake in the wrestling business. But he has been active on the 83 Weeks Wrestling podcast. He's been doing shoot interviews, and that's all good and dandy. But when you look back at Eric Bischoff's run in wrestling, I think it's going to get a 50-50 response from a lot of the longtime fans. Definitely not the worst promoter ever, not the worst persona ever, but somebody that obviously many feel was always about vendetta and agenda first before actually doing what was best for the talents. When you look at the downfall of WCW. WCW, World Championship Wrestling, a company that we all remember so well as being a pain in the ass to WWE in the 80s or the 90s. No doubt about it, at one point was thriving, and then they just lost the momentum, and we know where it went. Eric Bischoff was president of WCW. Previously to that, he was an announcer. But when the guy really took over the realms of WCW, the company was doing great at that time. He was cleaning out Vince McMahon's talents from WWE to, quote, steal the talent from WWE to have them go over to WCW. We saw so many jumps from one company to another. The Macho Man, Hulk Hogan, Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, Bret Hart, Kurt Hennig, Rick Rude, all these guys went over to WCW for that better wrestling company. But look what happened when the ratings began to drop. They were starting to really make a lot of mistakes. That is when they decided to reach out to one Vince Russo. Vince Russo came in. No one knew at the time how Russo would have done, but apparently Russo and Bischoff could barely get along. There was massive friction between them. You look at their run on camera together as part of the New Blood, definitely you can see that there was some friction between them if you're a longtime wrestling fan and you could see what was going on. Two different personas of wrestling conflicting was really what sped up the demise of WCW. There was the criticism that Eric Bischoff should have pushed younger talent sooner than he did and not been all loyal to just Hulk Hogan. That is a statement that a lot of us wrestling fans, we find ourselves actually agreeing with, even though we don't want to admit it, because all those fans out there, they definitely have a very biased opinion when it comes to Eric Bischoff supporting Hulk Hogan and pushing him more than most of the younger guys. I mean, we know Hogan was champion how many times over, top heel in the company, was definitely at the main event level too many years. And what happened when fans got sick of Hulk Hogan? Hogan left the company. Bischoff left the company. They did the whole WCW Bash the Beach angle, which ended up turning into a real shoot because Vince Russo came out to the ring, grabbed the microphone, ran down Hulk Hogan, and which was not part of the angle. And, you know, he ends up going to WWE as the Raw general manager after WCW closed. And the truth is, it really was something that was very groundbreaking. But a lot of people may not remember this, but Eric Bischoff was the original choice to be the higher power of the Ministry of Darkness that kidnapped Stephanie McMahon, that The Undertaker was driving back in 1999, taking over WWE. They originally wanted Eric Bischoff to be a part of that. And I don't remember how it really played out. I don't know if it's because he got removed from WCW or he signed a new contract and just, I guess, took a newer position. But could you imagine that? Eric Bischoff removing the Druid, you know, the hat or the top piece, and then you see Eric Bischoff's face for the very first time on WWE Raw's War. That would have been such an epic moment, but instead, Bischoff, for whatever reason, ended up not doing it, and it went right over to Vince McMahon, which I frankly feel Vince McMahon as the higher power was just not a good choice. And, you know, Bischoff would go on after his Raw GM run would end. He went over to TNA, and again, there's the criticism that he and Hogan were doing the same shtick they did in WCW, which many people criticized and said that that was definitely what sped up the demise of TNA. And Bischoff ended up leaving that company because, again, he had conflicts with Vince Russo. And ever since then, I think that he was just really doing podcasting and he was doing all kinds of things away from the wrestling business. And I think he did come back as a SmackDown executive producer before being thrown away, like not even a short time later. It's a safe bet to say that Eric Bischoff is retiring because he's sick of the toxicity of professional wrestling creatively, what these companies have done, the agendas over the years. And the fact is, you can only say so much about the inner secrets of wrestling before people just don't want to hear it anymore. They just feel you're becoming way too a part of it. And I get it that Eric Bischoff wants to leave and wants to find something else in life. Hey, I'm all for that. But at the same time, how will he be remembered? The guy who nobody ever expected to turn heel, who would go on to form the NWO. The NWO, black and white, when it was formed, no one ever saw that coming. And look what happened. Bischoff was always part of that group. And the NWO black and white storyline, I think that will be forever his biggest storyline, even more than being a Raw general manager, because it was a great concept for its time. WCW was desperately looking for a breakout storyline. They did it. And when they executed Hulk Hogan turning heel at Bash at the Beach, that just made it even more shocking and more of an epic storyline to push, combined with the fact that Bischoff, he proved he could be a good heel. His best heel work was in WCW. It was all right in WWE, but I felt like it was too many similarities with what he did in WCW and WWE. And, the guy had the ability to really make you hate his guts. That is what a good heel is. But a lot of people also may not know that he was a real martial artist. No doubt about it. The guy obviously has a martial arts background. But at the same time, Eric Bischoff is always going to be remembered for causing controversy. The guy wanted to cause as much problems as he possibly could for the whole point of trying to get people to talk. The way that he starts talking about the results of Monday Night Raw, this kind of shift people away from the show to watch WCW, the finger poke of doom that we remember, combined with the fact is that, Bischoff, he was put in situations to where I firmly believe that really kind of made him look bad, even though he did not mean to be bad. But say what you will, Eazy-E, how will he be remembered in your eyes? I want to hear you all say what you remember him best for. I think the NWO black and white will be his best moment, but his downside will be familiar with the guy that obviously played a part in destroying WCW. And the guy who, no doubt about it, he's been really shooting hard on a lot of people in wrestling itself. But say what you will, Eric Bischoff did not actually disappoint. He left us all talking, and that at the end is what a true professional really is. Whether you're a superstar, whether you're basically an announcer, when you get people talking, that is all that matters, and that's one of the reasons why I think his time in wrestling will be appreciated. No doubt about it. I wasn't a fan of his, but I definitely didn't hate the guy. I'm just pointing out certain flaws and certain things that he did wrong. No doubt about it, though. We'll always have these memories. He'll always be missed. And at the end of the day, there's only one Eric Bischoff. So thanks again for watching, everybody. Stay tuned for more. I'll talk to you guys later. Take care.